So are you saying that there was an offer, but it was probably higher than that?
There has been an offer. There has been an offer. There's been several discussions with myself. Wow. I don't rule it out. I can't rule it out. It's not my job. AJ's the boss. He will rule it out or not rule it out. He'll have an intelligent conversation. He's very smart about the plan. He won't want to do it because, a lot of people who know boxing, a lot of people know that, you're going to a new trainer, he's doing this. People say it's a very smart move. And then on the other hand, it's, you're ducking him. You can't win. Do you know what I mean? And Anthony has never ducked anyone. So he won't want to even let one person think that he's ducking that challenge, because that's not what he's about. But sometimes you have to think with your head rather than your...
Yeah, in other words, look, the only way he would even consider doing that if there's a guarantee that he's going to get the shot at the titles against Fury should he win.
And for a lot more money than he was going to get in the first place. So, look, there is a smart play here somewhere, but Anthony is not about the money. He's not, if the plan makes sense down from a development point of view, working with a new trainer, maybe having a fight first, going into a much bigger fight. I can see the sense in it. But it's not with Anthony. It's never been a case of, here's some money. Does it tempt you? Because he's not about that. He's a throwback fighter. He's about legacy.
Well, he's made tons of money already.
All he's thinking about at the moment is beating Alexander Usyk.
What's good, family? Shout out to my doggy, Lewis Perkins, for boosting up your man the Water Bees coins once again. Respect. So we got some breaking news right now. And we just heard there from your man's Eddie Hearn. And it's bad. Listen, it's super duper bad. If your name is an Anthony Johnston fan. You bad. Listen, never mind bad. You down bad is what you is. Oh man, YB and you making things up and Anthony Johnston, he'd never accept step aside. You a hater, YB. You a turncoat. You've been paid and... Oops. What happened to that? I thought you said there was no offer. You man was telling me in the last few days that AJ a Spartan, he'd never even entertain it. Now his own man Hearn out here telling you, we've had plenty of offers. And we're getting in the thick of it. He's got a new trainer and some people are saying it's a great idea because he can have a warm-up fight and then he can have a new trainer. But then, what you notice is about Hearn, and don't worry, we're going to break down line by line the things he says, but from a macro sense, every time he makes a statement saying the truth, i.e. AJ begging for step aside, he always says, but AJ focusing on USYK fight, he not thinking about step aside. What? You just said that you can entertain it and if the business makes sense. Next thing you're saying, he not thinking about that. Which is it then? You can't have both. And really, when you look at the whole situation holistically, we know what's going on. Well, tell I, if you listen to what I'm saying, you know what's going on. Johnston is begging for step aside. Yeah, he wants an opportunity to work some more with his fruity trainers. Sorry, I told a lie. Anthony Johnston wants more time to pump some weights with a new trainer. Do you understand? Yeah? He wants to meet a new trainer and pump a whole load of weights for a few years. That's what he wants, 100%. AJ needs a few more months so he can pump a few more weights. That's the bottom line, people. Yeah? Nothing to do with a new trainer. It's about new weight pumping. Anyway, listen. Let's get to the crux of this. I've written down the notes here. Let's walk through what Hearn said. Hearn said, AJ is the boss. Yeah? He will rule out step aside or he won't rule out step aside. And yes, we have had several offers regarding it. Now, on that note there, what else do we know? Like I said before, I've been saying this. Back in 2019, Ruiz and Wilder were preparing to give AJ step aside to make undisputed. AJ took him to court. There weren't no discussion. And that's how you can show, I've been saying this for years, AJ's mindset, the whole lot of it is devolved. And this is the perfect case study of that. Because, bottom line, it begs the question, wait a minute, why, if it's about business, if Johnston is just a consistent businessman, why didn't you entertain the offer? If this isn't an indictment on your weak mental state, I'd have a lot more respect for Johnston, yeah, if you AJ Funny Style fans could tell me, well, YB, it's not necessarily true that AJ is super duper zesty, because even in 2019, he considered Step Aside. That's not the case though, is it? No. He shut down Step Aside. He weren't even entertaining it at any level. He wanted his get back. Now, even if that get back was a little moist, even if he shit himself for 12 rounds, I respect him in as much as he went in there. He didn't try to play no games and try to be smart about it. He didn't start talking about triangles. Oh, well, I'm a businessman and, I'm in real estate with my cousin and, sometimes we do triangles and sometimes you got to get the quality. Other times it's the profit. Other times it's the... What's this guy? Funny Style cat. I swear down, he Funny Style. Yeah, Kelly Maloney sounding arse. Anyway, listen. Like I was saying. This dude ain't consistent. This dude is getting zestier by the day. And you can't... Yeah, I hold him responsible as a 32-year-old man, but it's the people around him. Who's really firm around him? They're all messy looking and sounding, aren't they? Let's be real now. Who's really firm? Who's in his ear telling him, listen, Johnston, it's not a good look for your career. Your career is much more... And the funny thing is, yeah, people talk about business, but the true business is... Let me tell you now, Team Johnston. Since not one of your men got a backbone in your team, let me give you some free advice. I should be charging you for this, though. Especially after you lost my coins. You punk. Yeah? But let me give you some free advice. Quick time. Since you want to focus so much on business, it's a shame no one's got the spine and or the IQ to tell you the true business play here. The only play here, yeah, is to get your elbows tucked in, get your nuts out on the table, and march this middleweight down. Because if you do that, you get your belts back. And that Fury fight, imagine that. Imagine if you go in there, yeah, and mosh USYK in 2 rounds. Oops. What does that do for your career? What does that do to the future value of the Fury fight? All of a sudden, everyone's lipstick's out thinking, wow, imagine how great the AJ and Fury fight's going to be now. Fury just moshed Wilder. AJ just moshed USYK. It's back again. In fact, it's even bigger because before, the whole argument was, well, AJ's going to be aggressive and Fury going to run around. If you go in there and demolish USYK, that Fury fight is legitimately a $100 million fight apiece again, regardless of what's happened in the past. That's the facts. If you step aside, if you let your back end flap in front of the world, yeah, you can negotiate some coins. Well, I can make 50. You're not thinking long term, and that's what shows you how weak his whole team are, him and his whole team. Because if they had any foresight, if they had any belief to double down on his skills, which by the way they've never had, because like I said before, look at the Ruiz rematch, look at the Pulev fight, look at the USYK fight. They've never actually doubled down on AJ's skills and talent. Doubling down would have said, you know what? We got beat by Mr. Blobby on a bad day. However, our whole career has been based on going in there and getting stuck in. Let's become better and more efficient and more effective at doing that. Let's tighten up our leaky defense. Let's tighten up our leaky offense where we just throw flurries of punches that do nothing, hit the guard. I've never seen AJ, look at Alvarez. I've never seen AJ, go in there and pick someone apart with single, double shots. You see him in there just swinging big left and right. It's like a big bodybuilder. It's super low IQ. I've never seen a fighter so low IQ, truth be known. Just go in there, useless guard, and just slapping left and right. Like what? You couldn't even finish Pulev properly. That's why he was still in there after 3 rounds, because you were just slapping the guard. Like what? No word of a lie. I was screaming at the TV. Pulev is renowned, for putting his earmuffs on. He lifts his... When someone starts attacking Pulev, he puts his guard so high up, his body was wide open. And you didn't throw one body shot the whole night. And you want to talk about how you're learning IQ. You are low IQ is what you're learning. Your whole team low IQ as well, which is why you never threw one body shot in your whole career. Oops. When you seen Johnston throw a body shot? When I say a body shot, I don't mean a fanny flap around jab. I'm talking about slapping a hook or slapping an uppercut in there. You ain't never seen it. Because his low IQ and his team are low IQ. And people say, YB, you think you could train Johnston? McCrappen could. Oops. Yeah? Dopey ass McCrappen could. Give me a shot. Now what? What we know is, if I had a shot, There wouldn't be none of this, oh, well, we're going to step aside because we want to talk about triangles. We're going in there. Yeah, and if we get whooped by Mr. Middleweight, so be it. At least we can put our head on the pillow at night. If we go in there, yeah, on our job and get turned over by USYK, Mr. Middleweight, at least you can know you just weren't good enough. At least you can put your head on the pillow and tell your kids, listen, I got beat by the better man, and it is what it is. What you can tell your son? Oh, my ass flapped for some coin. That's what you can tell your son. In fact, I'll tell you something for you, because I'm not even sure you've got the backbone to do it yourself. Let me tell AJ Jr., your pops is a big ass flap, is what he is. Big bodybuilding ass flapper. How about that? Oops. What are you going to do now? Yeah? Oh, what are you going to do? Put in a video out? Oh, man, you know why I be, and you said you told my son my ass is flapping. It is flapping. Your whole team flapping. Super flapping. You've got some new funny style training, no doubt. Some Mr. Robert Garcia, the man who couldn't even get his brother got spanked by some random dude. All these celebrity trainers who ain't no good. Yeah? Oops. What, Mr. Robert Garcia, who lazy ass Brandon Rios couldn't even get him in shape. That's a great shout. You got some great ideas there, Johnson. But it just shows everything Johnson does, you can guarantee it low IQ. Yeah, 100%. You can guarantee it's going to be some third or fourth rate idea. Anyway. And it makes sense when Eddie Hearn says AJ's the boss. He makes his own decisions. Well, you best believe he's doing that. That's why he makes the deadest decisions. Low IQ have an ass. Anyway, Eddie Hearn says they're going to have a smart and intelligent conversation about the plan. And if the plan makes sense, then he may entertain step aside. And then Eddie Hearn says in the next sentence, but you know, he won't want to do it. Eddie, just be real now. That's what I don't like. And I've said this at the start. Every time Eddie Hearn says something about a strategic plan, aka, yeah, we're going to flap for some coins, the next sentence he says, oh, but, you know, AJ won't want to do it. What do you mean? You just said he makes the rules. He calls the shots. Now you're saying he won't want to do it. Which is, what? Yeah? Be honest. The thing is, this isn't 2015 where you had a bunch of shills like LDBC Hatman or bought in Shilicons. This is 2022 and it's your Mando YB. Yeah? The public know what time it is, unfortunately, because I'm telling them what time it is. How about that? You can come out here and go on your goofy ass DAZN show, flip-flopping. I'm going to tell them what the time is. And the time is, yeah? Johnston is flapping for coins. And the fact you keep going back and saying, oh, you know, AJ ain't about the money, but he about the money. He love coin. He love coin. He love coin. He loves coin. Listen, let me tell you what Johnson loves. He loves pumping weights. He loves coin. He loves, what's the other one? Oh yeah, modelling. That's the other one. I've got another video coming soon. AJ posting all of his modelling gigs on the internet. What's this guy? This is one. I'll tell you now. This cat is zesty. Yeah, super zest as well. Like, it's not even a cool zesty. Like, for example, when people are successful, yeah, I do find it quite attractive when you're a boxer, yeah, and you're doing some zesty things. It's almost a bit edgy, isn't it? Always a bit edgy, but look, he's a killer. But when you're getting whooped by middleweights, it's not the look. If you're in there smoking dudes, yeah, if you're in there smoking Don's packs for them, and you're getting your nails done, it's kind of like edgy, isn't it? Oh, look. Yeah, you're getting his nails done, but you take your head off. You getting your nails done and getting top, by a middleweight, that's not the look. Yeah, it's not. You getting your nails done and talking about how you love modelling and pumping weights, that's not it. Especially at this time when your whole brand is going down the toilet regarding this whole step aside thing. But really, when you look at it, everything's adding up now. The modelling, the weight pumping, the stepping aside in. And I hate to say it, oh, YB, you think you know, I'm just telling you what time it is. I'm the one 2 years ago who said, this ain't a good look. The whole lot ain't a good look. McCrappen ain't a good look. He ain't thinking on the right path for this particular type of job. They said, no, this is a serious game you're involved in. And you ain't taking it serious. We all watched it. You were a joke in the ring with USYK. That's the truth. Big hard back looking joke. Honestly, yeah. If I look like Johnston and I perform like that, I'd be embarrassed. You need to apologise to God. That's what you need to do. Listen, God, I'm sorry. Because you made me big for nothing. Sorry. You made me big and I'm doing nothing with it. That's what you need to do, 100%. Anthony Johnson needs to get on his knees tonight and apologise to God for making him big and doing nothing with it. Yeah, the BFN, the big for nothing Nick. 100%. You best believe that. Anyway, listen. The next thing Hearn says. Yeah, so he says AJ won't want to step aside. However, he's probably going to get a new trainer, and some people are saying it'll be a very smart move if he does step aside, because then he can work with a new trainer. Listen, no one ain't saying that. I think to some extent I was saying that, but what trainer are you getting? If it's not me and ain't Shane, I ain't interested, bottom line. I'm sick of all these so-called cool names. Oh, this name. I don't care about the names. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. If it ain't Shane and it ain't me, I'll believe it when I see it. How about that? No more credit. I'm not giving no more credit. I don't care. Oh, but he trained this guy. I'll watch it. You know what I'm saying? One of them ones. I don't believe it. Because really, when you look around, no one ain't really doing it like that for me anyway. Yeah? They're just not. So, I'll believe it when I see it. How about that? And on that basis, giving more time for AJ to swan around and get his nails done and do some modelling gigs and be in Dubai, I'd rather you just get filled in, truth be known. That's the honest truth. I'd rather you get filled in April and we can just forget about you and sit you down somewhere. Yeah? Book you some more modelling gigs. Pump some more weights on Snapchat. That's what I'd rather you do, truth be known. Just get rid of this guy. I don't want to see you get filled in by Tyson Fury. Johnston, do you not have no shame? You sitting there taking some coin and essentially saying, well, I don't want to get filled in by middleweight, but I can get more if Tyson Fury tops me. Oh, that's what I'll do, yeah. I get paid some more coin to get topped by Fury. Well, do you not think about your fans? Not me, I don't care, but the people who support you, do you not think that you should go out with a little piece of dignity, which really should mean you should retire now? Because if, as a so-called fighting man, if you're sitting there working out who you can get paid more to lose to, which is what you're doing, by the way. Because think about it, if AJ believed he could win, he'd go in there and get his belts back, wouldn't he? And then he'd fight for undisputed anyway. The only way Step Aside makes sense is if his butt's twitching about fighting a middleweight who B-level Sean Porter used to mosh with weights in his shorts. That's the only way. I explained at the start of the video, the most money is when you go in there, KO USYK in 5 rounds, and then KO Fury. That's the most money. If you really are serious about talking about business and serious about doubling down on yourself. The only way it makes sense to step aside is if you're not sure you can handle the middleweight. And you need Fury to do it for you. But having said that, if you're not sure about finishing USYK, you think you can do something with Fury. Especially after the fact, or especially assuming that Fury beats USYK, innit? Because don't forget, Team AJ themselves have almost conceded that they believe Fury beats USYK by the simple fact that Eddie Hearn saying, well, yeah, if it makes a bigger fight, if it pays us more money, well, think about it. AJ versus USYK is what it is. AJ versus USYK for 3 belts or 4 belts don't really make no difference. It's going to be $1 million or 2 difference, isn't it? So that in itself proves Team AJ believe Fury can beat USYK. Hence why Eddie Hearn's saying, well, yeah, the fight's bigger. AJ versus Fury is bigger than AJ versus USYK, but you're forgetting that you can still have both fights. If you believe you can win, which they don't. And they believe, Team AJ have got more belief in Fury handling the middleweight for them than they've got handling it themselves. It's an absolute whopper of a situation. But people, life's about steps, yeah, and this is how we went from 2015. People have always wondered, how did we get here? Now you know how. This is how we went from 2015 AJ to here. He's surrounded, but look at his team. You got Silver Spoon Hearn. What's he really had to do? Let's be real now. What's Hearn really had to fight for? Nothing. 258 management. What have they ever had to fight for? Yeah? 258 management just came along and sling their hook onto Johnston. Is surrounded by dudes, yeah, who have all got their hands open, hand out on silver spoons. That's what the facts say. Yeah? There ain't no one in there who's really... Everyone got their hand out, bottom line. There ain't no one there who really trying to make their own thing pop. 100%. And that's the bottom line. His mind's soft and his team's soft. And they're making soft decisions. No one's got no backbone. No one's putting their foot down and saying, no, that can't work. We must move forward. We must march through the fire. We must march through the flame. And the thing is, they're spending so much time trying to control the narrative. Oh, Eddie Hearn himself, even in this clip, said, oh, you know what AJ's like? He won't want the money. He a throwback fighter. What? Where are you getting these words from? AJ wouldn't know the first thing about a throwback fighter. Yeah? When he was getting punched up by a middleweight, I'm telling you now, honestly, yeah, people can call me a turncoat, I'm being honest now. In them 12 rounds against USYK, I didn't see throwback fighter for 10 seconds in there. And that's the facts. You can be mad, you can be whatever you want, that's the truth. The truth is, there weren't 10 seconds of throwback fighterness in that whole fight. And that's what the truth is. I can sit there and watch Fury and Deontay Wilder and see many seconds of throwback fighterness. There wasn't none of that in the whole AJ fight. That's the truth. And it disgraces all those who actually live that. It's easy to woof it. Yeah, we can all woof about greatness. Going in there and delivering it is a whole different ball game. And in fact, the one time you may have had a bit of a smidgen of some throwbackness against Vlad, against 50-year-old OAP Vlad, which never really should have happened. Let's be real now. What was a prime super athlete going life and death with an old man on a 2-year retirement? What was that about? I'll tell you what it was about. Your team crap is what it was about. But even so, the fact you had to go life and death with Vlad is shocking in itself, but still. What happened after that? The one time you showed a smidgen of throwbackness when you're involved in a half-decent fight. Don't forget, people people rant and rave about the Klitschko fight. Even maybe myself at some points. Oh, he was a mayor. He did this. He did what you're supposed to do. Yeah? You did what you're supposed to do for $50 million. What the fuck you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with these guys? You're making out you did something... You make out you're a firefighter. Wow, he went in there for 30 grand a year and... You know what I'm saying? We know soldiers and firefighters give their lives for 30 grand a year, and you want me to suck Johnson off getting paid 50 mil to do what he's supposed to be doing in a fight? It weren't that good, let's be real, it weren't that good, it was alright. Yeah, standard fight in my book. And you want me to suck you off about throwback fighter? Get real, get serious. And the worst thing is, even after that, what happened? Rob, I wish you could train me to not get hit anymore, because, I'm kind of, I don't really want to be in I don't really want to be in a hard work fight anymore. I just want to make some 30 mils for free, really. Yeah, Rob, can you train me to fight like I do against USYK, so I can just get paid money for doing fuck all? So, at the first sight of trouble, listen, throwback fighterness was standing right in front of you during that Klitschko fight, and afterwards, you was trying to run in the opposite direction. Yeah? Firefighters and people in the army, they're trained to go towards danger. You, who really doesn't have... People like to rant and rave about how dangerous it is, but let's be honest now. There's nothing more dangerous than running into a fire or having shots thrown at you or having bullets flying at you. And we know categorically people every day walk into the fire and walk into the bullets. You get to walk into a nice regulated thing and get paid handsomely for it, and you're trying to tell your trainer to help bail you out. Oh, well, don't really want to be in them tough situations anymore. Let's see if you can help me negotiate a way to fiddle around in fights from now on. Anyway, let me get to these other quotes from Hearn. He says, on the other hand, of people saying it's a good idea to get a new trainer and step aside so you can work with that, other people will say it's ducking. But AJ's never ducked anyone, and he won't want anyone to think he's ever ducked anyone, etc., etc. Then that's when Hearn drops the bombshell. He says that AJ sometimes, or AJ should basically consider thinking with his head and not with his balls. So again, full of contradictions. 1 minute Hearn saying AJ will never do anything to do with step aside. Now we're saying, well, he needs to think. AJ's a throwback fighter and he needs to start thinking with his head and not with his balls. Listen, Eddie. Over the last few years, let me tell you the last thing AJ's been thinking with. Because I'll tell you what it ain't been. It ain't been his balls, has it? Let's be real now. In them 12 rounds against USYK, where exactly was AJ thinking with his balls? Looking to go to work. When was that then? They've created this myth. Throwback fighter, and sometimes he just likes to get in there and get rough. And when was that? We must have missed that one then, because it weren't in the Poulet fight. It weren't in the Ruiz rematch. It weren't even in the Ruiz first fight. And it definitely weren't in the USYK fight. So what do you mean he needs to start thinking with his head? That's all he's been doing. The only thing consistent really is the fact that he thinks with his head. Too much, in fact. And I think it's because, as I've been saying, it's all these people around him buzzing in his ear. None of them, in my opinion. Life's about balance. You've got to have, you need the smart business people. But when you actually look at AJ's team, I think, who was it? Was it Spencer Fearon? Said a long time ago that AJ ain't got no real people in his camp. And I think that's actually an indictment on most camps these days. Even look at Dillian White, Mr. Shillian Shai, for example. Lennox Lewis himself came out and said, listen, Shillian, me and you ain't in the same realm. And it seems to be everywhere you look these days, Dillian, AJ, they're all doing the same zesty behaviour. Anyway, let's wrap this up, because really, this whole video from Eddie Hearn is just one big circle jerk. It goes back and forth like a yo-yo, but you need to appreciate the context. So let me give you the last few contradictions. He says, AJ needs to think with his head and not his nuts and make smart decisions. AJ would need to be guaranteed the undisputed fight and be guaranteed more money if he was to step aside. I don't know about exactly what's going to happen, but I know there's a smart play here somewhere. But AJ isn't about the money. See what I'm saying? We need a guarantee of the undisputed fight and we need more money, but AJ isn't about the money. I can't deal with, me personally, if I'm going to do something, I'll just tell you what it is. Especially in the public. Fair enough, if you're a private person and you're making private business, or you know what I mean, if you're a private businessman, that's one thing. But when you're out in the public and you're talking, I think they think we're just low IQ. I think they think we're proper stupid. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you think anyone, apart from the AJ fangirls, Eddie, do you think anyone is looking at this and thinking, for sure, this is definitely flagging AJ as a throwback fighter. We definitely know AJ isn't fiending for more coin. Because I'll tell you now, not even one person believes this, apart from AJ fangirls. Only AJ fangirls could believe that AJ accepting the step aside is anything less than him being scared to death of USYK and loving money. That's the fact. The facts are, step aside means you're scared to death of USYK, you have no belief in yourself, and you love coin. You love easy coin. Because like I've explained, really, if AJ ultimately loved coin, he'd want to go in there and dominate USYK, dominate Fury. That's the real play. That's the real money play. You get to become $100 million Floyd Mayweather entity. You don't do that by being a sideman and waiting there and just being on the sideline. This is what you call the lowest risk and highest reward play. But it's not the maximalist play. The maximalist play where you can do massive pay-per-views would be, I'm going to smoke everyone. This play is the play of, I'm got no belief in myself, not sure I can win anyway, so how can we not take any risk and get paid coin for doing not much? That's what this is. This isn't the throwback play. This isn't the let's create something out of nothing. This isn't the frontiersman play. I'm going to make $1 billion. I'm going to become $1 billion man by brute force, by walking through the fire, by walking through the bullets. That's not this. This is the, damn, I'm down bad. I like pumping weights and modelling for Hugo Boss. Yeah, that's what I want to be doing with my time. I'm not really into this boxing anymore. Let's see how we can squeeze some coin for not doing a lot. That's what this is. And if anyone disagrees, you're a fangirl. Anyway, the last few lyrics that Eddie Hearn says is that, yeah, there's a smart play here somewhere, but you know, AJ isn't about the money. If the plan makes sense from a development point of view, with a new trainer, a middle fight, a warm-up fight, and then a bigger fight with Fury in the unification, then it's possible. But you know, AJ isn't tempted by money. He's a throwback fighter about legacy. All he's thinking about right now is beating USYK, and that's where he ended it. All he's thinking about now is beating USYK. Eddie Hearn spent 90 seconds there flip-flopping back and forth between strategic business and throwback fighterness. How embarrassing. I'd have a lot more respect for everyone involved, yeah, if you just came out and said, truth is, AJ, he's in a bit of a low. He has no belief in himself. So we've got to do what we can to get what we can out of the sport, because he down bad. Given that's the truth. Now, I guess I'm asking for too much here. No one's really going to do that. But still, that's what the bottom line is here. And to be honest, ultimately I'd have much more respect if someone like me was in the camp and it was just straight doubling down. Yeah? Even in the Ruiz fight, you sued Ruiz to get the rematch. Look at Wilder. I respect him as well. Wilder was offered step aside. He took Fury to court to get his get back. I respect that. Johnston. Never mind suing to get his shot. He literally begging Fury. He begging Fury to pay him. To bail him out. To beat the middleweight for him. So really, what I'm saying is here, people, if you ain't going to bring in someone who knows what needs to be done, you need to retire. That's what I've taken from this interview. Seriously. Because me, I don't want to see you... really, be honest now. Even fangirls. Do you really want to see Johnston hang around? Just hanging back like a sideman, collecting coin for nothing. And then going in there with Fury and getting turned over. Because he was too scared to fight USYK. I don't care what no one says. There's no justification. The Fury fight is twice as big if AJ goes in there authentically with his own belts. Just imagine the optics on that. Okay, so you're scared to fight USYK. Fury beats him. Fury's undisputed. What? You're coming in there with no belts? What have you got? What are you bringing to the table? Fury beat the man who beat you. You got no belts. You're just a sideman. And you're begging to accept that. I'm sorry. This is to retire. That's what you need to do right now. Retire and save the smidgen of dignity you've got left before you go down as the biggest bodybuilding model in history. That's what you'll be known as. You'll be known as the weightlifting model. You won't be known as a boxer, I'll tell you that for free. Let me tell all the AJ fans in the world, yeah, please know this. If you take this move, he will be known as the biggest weightlifting modeling bodybuilder in the history of the world. Yeah? And the worst thing is you'll be a failed bodybuilder weightlifter as well. 100%.